Hey folks, you know these cool logos from energy drinks like Red Bull and Monster Energy, right? They're all about that instant energy boost. Well, guess what? I decided to recreate those products using Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator. Today we're diving into the graphic design world to capture that energy and excitement. So get ready as we check out the creative journey of transforming these famous brands into eye-catching designs that give their products a whole new vibe. Here's the deal. I snagged a picture of some gnarly monster teeth, and today we're going to work some magic with the paint tool. First things first, I'm gonna crack down the transparency level to 44% to make tracing a breeze. From the tippity top, we're going in, and I mean point by point, catching every detail of those teeth. It is like a virtual dental work, but way more fun. Let's get into the nitty-gritty and see how this monster masterpiece comes to life. Alright, buckle up, because we're about to talk about this super cool Adobe trick that's a total game changer, so check it out. I've got this section all nicely traced, right? Now instead of sweating over duplicating every single thing, we're going to be smart about it. I'll just casually select and right-click, hit up transform option, and boom! Choose reflect, it's like magic. Then just click OK and voila! Time saved. Adobe, you sneaky genius. Let's keep the design train rolling, folks. Now here's where the fun really kicks in. So remember that slick move we just pulled off with reflection? Well, guess what? We can totally rinse and repeat the party trick with other lookalike sections too. Watch this. I'm gonna trace another part, just casually doing my thing. Then we're hitting the same replication process. It is like the copy-paste of the design world, but with a touch of finesse. This Adobe hack is a total lifesaver, especially when you're in the groove of creating something awesome. Let's assess how much detailing is required. I'll zoom out and, to check the accuracy of the tracing, I'll click and hold the image to observe any differences. Everything has been accurately traced. Now let's proceed to the next phase, adding color. To achieve this, I'll first restore the transparency to its original level. Afterwards, I'll select the oval and circle shape, whatever it may be, and choose the rectangle tool. Placing the rectangle in this specific area, it'll fill it with colors matching those of the monster tooth. This step is crucial because upon completing the tracing, I'll use the colors to fill in the drawing, restoring it to its original monster tooth appearance. It's almost done, as you can see. Let's go ahead and do some shading. I'll use Photoshop for the following phase, but first I'll go back to Adobe, copy my monster and paste it here. Following this, I'll use Google to look up the Monster Energy logo SVG and obtain high-quality picture. I'll then open Adobe, choose the logo image and paste it there right after that. Going back to Photoshop again. Here, I'm adding a sprinkle background at the bottom, aligning with the color contrast of the monster logo. For this part, I've already downloaded a fitting image, but in order to make it more appealing and consistent with the overall design, I'm changing this black backdrop to a deep green hue. I'll zoom out of the monster slightly and proceed to blend the sharp edges of the monster with the same background color. To amp up the monster energy vibes on our monster, let's throw in some slime action. Gotta tweak things a bit to make sure these slimy elements blend in perfectly and give our monster the extra monstrous It is all about the details, folks. To make our slime game strong and keep this looking legit, I'm adding some shadows. It's all about the authentic visual impact. Now let's dive into the logo stuff. We'll follow the same procedures as we did earlier for the monster tooth. I'll click on the circle, fill it with the desired color for my logo, and then apply the color shades for the logo itself, much like this. Once the logo is finalized, I'll select it, head to Photoshop and paste it there. And make all the necessary adjustments. I'm gonna sneak in a little shadow action around the slime zone and drop a cool shadow under the logo for the extra vibe. Now adding energy text, just to spice things up a bit. I prefer not to include the black borders because I remove them. I'll individually select each letter, copy them and paste them into Photoshop, adjusting them as needed. To preview the final appearance, we'll navigate to this tab. Here's how our product will be displayed. Exciting, right? However, I sense it could benefit from some additional refinement. Let's make those adjustments. Now let's compare our created logo with the original drink logo to identify any missing elements. It appears that taurine is absent. To address this, I'll search for the Monster Energy font, download it and install it. Once installed, I return to Photoshop, type taurine, choose the newly downloaded font, paste it back on the editing page and make adjustments as needed. To preview the final look, I return to this tab and boom! There you have it, our very own Monster Energy product. Ta-da! When I look at Red Bull, I'm thinking, hey, we can do better. I mean, it's an energy drink, right? But the current logo doesn't quite match the hype. Stay tuned, because in the next part of this video, I'm revealing my take on a logo that screams electrifying energy, perfectly fitting for the Red Bull vibe. First things first, let's work on the Red Bull. I'm going to copy this muscular Red Bull photo and paste it into Adobe Illustrator. After ensuring it's centered, I'll import the downloaded Red Bull logo saved in .html format by dragging it into a new tab. Once that's done, I'll select these bull elements, right-click and choose Ungroup. After that, I'll copy this particular bull portion and paste it over our original bull, modifying it as needed. To enhance visibility, I'll set the transparency level to 31%, allowing us to discern the lines and simplify the tracing process. Now let's get artsy with the paint tool. I trace every tiny detail, starting with outlining the whole bull. Let the games begin. Alright, this part is somewhat crucial. Initially, we'll proceed with tracing, just as we've been doing thus far. Next, we'll choose this region, navigate to swatches, and select the maroon shade. You'll notice how it seamlessly fills in the selected area. In a similar fashion, our initial focus will be on tracing the entire maroon region. Utilizing the swatches option ensures that the area is automatically filled as we trace along the outer edges. Having completed the tracing of the red area for the left ear, we'll now move on to this section. I'll create a duplicate as demonstrated. Following that, we'll right-click, navigate to transform, select reflect and click OK. It is important to adjust the duplicated part to match the left ear area. Transitioning into the inner outlines, I'll begin by tracing the initial right half of the red facial region. I'll then duplicate it, using the transform option and make necessary adjustments for alignment. Check this out, folks, we're going for this spot, but see, it is missing that crisp look we need to keep the whole picture on point when we add some color. To address this, we need to make some adjustments. Simply select this area, right-click and choose Join. I'll ensure there's an overlap of this line on top of the other, closing the gap. However, it seems there's still an issue. Without the logo image, you can clearly see the issue persisting. Let's rectify this line here by right-clicking and selecting Join once again. Now, it looks like we've got it fixed. Oh wait, there's a slight glitch in the top head portion. Let me tidy up that now by removing these extra lines. Ah, there's a gap. No worries, another right-click and join, and there you have it, finally fixed. Now let's zoom out, select the face area, and click the double-headed arrow to fill in the selected region. Onto the top of the nose area, we'll follow a similar procedure as we did for the face region. I'll begin by tracing the first half, then replicate it using the reflection method, making necessary adjustments. If there happens to be any gap, I'll promptly address it by employing the join option just before filling it with the maroon color. Now for the nose part, we're keeping the groove going with the same cool technique we've been using for tracing and replicating up so far. Take a look at the nose area, guys. See the difference? On the right, it's got this cool grassy thing going on with multiple pointy shapes, while the left is just rocking a solo point. Let's fix that up. We're going to remove the section and tracing it with some extra attention to make sure it matches the logo groove. Easy peasy, let's roll with it. Now, let's zoom in on those lower lips. I'm gonna keep it simple and just trace out of this part real quick. Alright, time to bring in some color. I'm picking this part and we're gonna splash some life into it. Let's get our paint on. Now let's address the eyes area. I'll trace the section, and since it appears to be yellow, we'll proceed to fill it with yellow hue. Following that, I'll duplicate it and make the necessary adjustments to align it with the other eye. Time to tackle those eyes. I'm gonna trace this part, and since it looks all yellow, we're gonna give it a sunny yellow vibe. After that, I'll copy it and align things to make sure it's vibing right with the other eye. Let's make those eyes pop. I've covered all the red region. To shade the black area, I'll just select the edge of the outer layer. Here, it indicates that this line is of black color. See this line here? I'll click on the color and go for a dark black shade. Finally, I'll click the double-faced arrows. At this point, we've completed the process of tracing and coloring. High five, peeps! Let's focus on the horn area. To create the horn, we'll take this image as a reference. Initially, we'll trace the image, make a copy, and then paste it onto our original logo. I'll apply white border lines for the horn and shade it with a gray color. Following that, I'll make necessary adjustments. However, given that the horns are larger than the designated area, we'll employ the puppet tool to rectify this discrepancy. I'll choose the horn, then select this option located right here, and beneath it, there is another option called the Puppet Wrap tool. I'll click on it, and with these dimensions visible, I'll make adjustments to the horn to ensure it fits seamlessly into place. Once it's adjusted, I'll select the horn, replicate it, and make further adjustments to position it on the right side. Alright, now comes the fun part. Adding those fancy details, I'm using a paint tool. And first, let's remove the maroon and black colors to reveal those awesome shading details. Increasing the transparency will help me identify the areas requiring shading. Commencing with the left horn area, I'll trace these shaded regions to fill them in a slightly darker shade of red to distinguish between light and dark shadows. For the light shaded areas, I'll use white color. I'll fine-tune the outlines of the borders and the color palette of the bull accordingly. Now that we've completed filling in the light, shaded portions of the face area, let's transition to detailing the body part. I'll carefully trace and fill in every region that has been tinted in light red and yellow in this stage. We'll proceed with the same procedure to fine-tune the bull's overall color scheme and tweak the border outlines after shading and applying color. Having completed the tracing, shading, and coloring, let's infuse some Red Bull vibes with additional effects and elements. I'll introduce a cloud-like texture for the bull's hair, and incorporate a prominent bee at the back to enhance its Red Bull essence. Now let's incorporate the name beneath the bull, adjusting it to suit my preference. Following that, I'll apply white borders to enhance the bull's features. Adding a touch of red, maroon, and black shades to the Red Bull logo will bring more depth. I'll then introduce the phrase "energy drink" at the logo's base. To intensify the Red Bull vibe, I'll include red and blue lightning bolts. However, I'm considering a change of a single shade for the Red Bull logo and will introduce shadows for added depth. For the shadow effect, I'll take the gradient option, applying it to each letter individually. Okay, after a bit of tweaking, we're all set to pop this design into mockup and see our final masterpiece. How? With the magic of Photoshop, of course. Now check out the can where we're gonna stick our logo design. Let the can makeover begin. Time to amp up the wow factor. We're gonna make this look like the real deal with some fancy effects. Adding a bit of shine, tweaking the logo color and scrunching up the background to make those edges pop. So I'm thinking, why not add some water droplets to make it all look extra real? And here is the combination of our efforts. Trust me, this Red Bull can truly give you wings. Alright folks, that's a wrap up for our glow up journey. We transformed these iconic energy drink logos into eye-popping designs. From Monster Energy's fierce teeth to Red Bull's bold bull. We've had a blast in the graphic design realm, and I hope you did too. Smash that like button, hit subscribe for more creative adventures, and drop a comment with your favorite makeover. Keep the creativity flowing, stay inspired, and catch you in the next one. Peace out. video.